What's up, you guys, and welcome back to the channel. My name is Chase, and today we'll be talking about the Blair Witch Project, a movie that popularized found footage horror, which came out in 1999. And this is my first time ever really watching this movie. I'm not a big found footage horror guy. I'm more of a supernatural horror guy, something like a Freddy Krueger, Jason, Hellraiser, Pinhead. That's my style of horror. That's the horror I like, but I do like other aspects of horror within the movie format. Needless to say, when it comes to this movie, it popularized found footage. Without this movie, we might not have a Paranormal Activity, or I'm trying to think of another horror movie that has found footage, but I don't really watch a lot of them, so that's the only movie I could go off the top of my head as of right now. But to give a quick synopsis of this movie, basically these three kids go into the woods of the city called Blair to film and make a documentary. I don't know what the verb for documentary making is, but basically they go into the woods to film this found footage homemade documentary of this urban myth slash legend of what happens within the Blair Woods. And you can obviously tell just from that synopsis that they are in a load of trouble, but when you watch the movie, they kind of aren't. It's time for me to talk about this movie, man, and I don't want to be disrespectful and say that it's a boring movie, but I will say the slow pacing of the movie throughout, I thought it was really going to build up to something in crescendo, and it kind of does to a degree, but it doesn't do as much as I would expect or really wanted it to do. So did it fail my expectations? Kind of, but that wasn't the thing that was going to really make or break the movie for me, like thought wise. But I mean, obviously in the movie, to me, it kind of did break it. But I will say that the ending, and there will be light spoilers on the ending, or heavy spoilers, I don't know, the movie's made in 1999. If I would have got spoiled on this movie back then, I wouldn't have really cared, because the movie came out in 1999. I had about 26 to 27 years to actually watch it. But watching the movie throughout, what really kept me engaged was the interaction between the three characters that we're presented with Heather, Mike, and I forgot the other guy's name. Heather, Mike, and Josh. That's their names. And to see their dynamics slowly shift into madness, into fear, into being hungry, into, you know, just going crazy, just trying to find a way to get out of these woods, because somehow they go into the woods and they cannot get out. So this urban myth slash legend slowly unravels to become real, but we really don't see that until we see what predicament that they're in, which feels very relatable, even though I would never go to the woods. Even in today's day and age where we have cell phones, we have GPSs, I still wouldn't go into the woods to try and find about some urban myth or legend. Y'all could keep that over there. But needless to say, once they start descending into madness, that's when the movie really picks up, and you see the dynamic, you see the shift, and you see how they treat each other, how they talk to each other. And to me, that's where the magic of the movie really lies, that and in the ending itself and the actual setting. Because while there are no jump scares, and I grew up in the era of horror movies having a lot of jump scares, that wasn't really deterring me. I kind of wish we would have got a bit more imagery, a bit more things like, whoa, did you see that? Because this movie is playing off the found footage trope where, oh, you know, everything is shaky, everything is kind of weird. You see it from the character's POV, basically. I kind of wish we would have saw like little glimpses of stuff happening, but we really don't see that. And if we did, maybe my eyes are just bad, I don't know. And the crunching of the leaves, when you watch this movie with the sound bar and you got that little sub bass and you hear the booms and all that type of stuff, that really had me engaged within the movie as well. But when it comes to the overall movie, I thought it was cool. I kind of thought it was a bit melodramatic at the end, but the ending, I don't want to say saves it, but the ending is good. But I wish there was just a little bit more within that ending. And it's time for me to talk about the ending right now. So if you have not seen the ending and you don't want to hear about the ending, go ahead, click off. I think this movie is a good watch one time. I don't see myself ever watching this, but let's go ahead and get into that ending. Once the gang is missing one of their friends and they go into this house because they think that they hear their friend's voice here, they go into the house. You see all these different POVs of them shooting the documentary still, and they're trying to find the voice of the friend, and we just don't know where he's at. Is he upstairs? Is he downstairs? Is he on the main base floor? We don't know. We follow them. We hear the friend calling out for both of the other friends that are still the surviving members. And once we actually hit that ending where one of the friends goes downstairs, he runs down there, we see him basically looking like he's either stuck or he's hanging, and then the girl Heather, the main character, goes down there as well. And then we just see the shot of the camera falling down, and then the movie ends. And I was like, that's it? We're not gonna see the witch that basically was a myth and basically causing all this stuff? Because we saw the creepy imagery in the woods with the little sticks and the signs and all that, but we didn't get to see the witch. That's the one thing I was like, yo, at least we get to see the witch at the end. We did not. Everything was left to the imagination, which in some points of horror, that's sometimes good, but I do want a satisfying conclusion still of seeing something, knowing that something was there. And yes, something obviously was there because these kids were missing, but I really wish I would have actually saw that with my own eyes. Yes, leave certain scenes up to my imagination, up to my interpretation. Maybe I heard something and I was like, okay, maybe that was that, or maybe that could have been a coincidence or something else. But I at least wanted to see the witch. That way, whew, I could have stopped holding my breath and I could have let out that sigh of relief, like, okay, I feel satisfied. But without seeing the witch itself, I kind of left a bit unsatisfied. Now, this is not a bad movie. I think this is a movie that you should watch to see why it's so foundational and inspirational when it comes to found footage horror. But I don't really see myself coming back to this unless I'm showing a friend or recommending to someone to show, like, oh, this is why, you know, found footage is, you know, as used as it is today. I know there was a whole bunch of things that probably play into the factor of this movie being legendary because of the times back then, but we're not in that time right now. I'm reviewing this in 2026. I know I'm really late to the party, but this movie just doesn't hit the same way like it does for current modern day horror movies. But you guys let me know what you think about the Blair Witch Project. I kind of plan to watch all of them, even the bad sequel that I heard that it has, but I do want to really watch that reboot that came out in 2016. Saw it on HBO Max and I was like, yo, with that soundbar, I know it's gonna go crazy. But you guys let me know what you think about the Blair Witch Project and let me know, am I tripping? Am I just, you know, too young to understand what was happening in the Blair Witch Project? I believe when that movie came out, I was 4. So I was definitely too young back then, but I'm like a 30-year-old now. I should understand it, and I understand this place. It just ain't for me. But that's about it for this video. Thank you guys for watching. Make sure you hit the like button and subscribe if you haven't already. My name is Chase. I'll see you guys in the next one. Peace.